Okay, hello everybody, this is Gum Jabbar, and this is going to be a PvZ. This is a pretty solid build. I'm really liking it so far. It's it's sort of a counter to the Stephano style mass roach play. So if you're having trouble with that, then definitely check out this video. So I'm getting back into the swing of things for Starcraft. I've been playing a bit lately. I'm still top diamond division, you know, whatever that means. Matching up occasionally with Masters players, but I wouldn't say I'm doing great, you know. It's going to take me a while to get really back into practice. So, obviously, Forge Fast Expand opening. That's pretty much like the standard right now. There are some interesting gateway no gas fast expands, and I'll probably do a video on that at some point, but right now we're just doing this, so let's speed it up. Forge fast expands are pretty simple. So I get in here and see no pool, and so instead of a forge I like to make a nexus first. On two-player maps you can definitely do this. I think it's very safe, and I blocked the nexus, and here comes my, I blocked the hatchery, and there goes my nexus. Now my forge. So he's already making lings, but he has to, I mean, he really can't do anything with them. So yeah, here they come. But like, I've got a wall off, and I've got my probes down here, so I can just block off these entrances. So a quick note, let's slow it back down, and a quick note on my building placement. At the front of my base, it's really bad. There's actually a gap here, so don't copy this building placement. I think this pylon should be a little farther back. This should be like down here, but this is pretty key. This pylon back here behind the minerals is super key, so that the Zerglings, if they want to go through the minerals, they have to go through your probe line. They have to. And when they do that, you can just take all your probes, right-click on the photon cannon so that your probes surround it, and then you will hold position, and they really can't do much. So that's your goal. He, however, is taking a really fast third, which is also very standard, and he's going to go ahead and park his Zerglings here. Yeah, look, there's a little truck with a Vespene gas down here. I never noticed that. That's cool. So, let's speed it up just a little bit, about ×2. I'm sending my Zealot out to, you know, just sort of clear the way. The very specific details of the build are not important in this game. We'll go over that in the next game, but because in this game I'm doing it kind of sloppily. This is like my first attempt, honestly. So I do like this early stalker. A lot of the Korean pros are doing this now. You can clear off the Zerglings at your third. You clear off some overlords in the center of the map. And meanwhile, I'm going for this one gateway into Robo, and I'm getting +1 pretty reasonably fast. At this point, I could be transitioning into a Sentry Immortal push. I could transition into a fast Warp Prism play. I can do a whole lot of things with this opening at this point. So it's tough for Zerg to really narrow it down. So yeah, we're going to go and try and snipe some Overlords. He does have some Zerglings though. And I could definitely be microing this a little better. I get my Stalker trapped. So screw that up a little bit, but that's fine. And I'm going to go ahead and make an Immortal because I saw some of those Roaches. And just getting upgrades. And now when the +1 is about finished, we're going to make our Twilight Council, because we want to get +2 started pretty quickly. The Twilight Council in this game particularly is pretty late. And actually, as we'll see in future games, I'm going to start a second Forge. But not right now, because I do it wrong in this game. But that's not important. The important thing is just the general idea. And the general idea is we're going to go for 2 base, Blink Stalker, Colossus, with a ton of upgrades, and we're going to hit at like 14 or 15 minutes. Our economy is going to be pretty weak. This is semi all-in, I want to say. But you can transition if you double expand into a macro game afterwards. Your push has to do damage, though. If you don't, you're just screwed, pretty obviously. And if you lose your whole army, there's no coming back. So we're going to see from Zerg that he's going to be doing this Roach Ling max out at about now. I mean, he's going to be way ahead in supply for pretty much the whole game. There's just nothing that Protoss can do about this. Like, he's almost maxed and it's about 13 minutes. Basically what I have to do is just wall in completely and just sit here and defend. It's very difficult. If we had a third base up, which we ought to by now in normal macro games, then yes, this would be very tough to defend. If not, I wanna say almost impossible. Some pros can hold off, but Stephano has been so successful. So instead, we're just going to sit here and use this choke point in our force fields and wall off with our colossi, and there's nothing that he can do, really. He can't really bust us. And Zerg is pretty reasonably, I think, taking a fourth base. I mean, we are mostly all in. So here we are pushing out. We've got 1-1 upgrades, and we're at 125 supply, give or take. And he's going to flank, and I didn't need to lose that Colossus. I didn't micro very well. So we did lose a little bit of our supply, but we're resupplying. We have a pretty strong econ, and we're going to kill a bunch of overlords for free. Always good. But you can see our third player is maxed out. So, I mean, the only way we can really deal with maxed Roach armies, you can't really deal with it with Gateway armies, because he's just going to flood you. You need Colossus. You have to have it, in my opinion. Even Immortals aren't quite good enough. So here we are, we're going to be target firing his hatchery, and we're going to basically just walk through all of his bases. This is our strategy. And meanwhile, I am double expanding. Because if you look at my main, I'm almost dried out. I'm basically going to be mining on one base in just a second, so I want to bump it up to 2. And now, of course, we engage in a nice choke point again. This is a great map for this kind of strategy, I think. And we bring a warp prism in to reinforce. Although this is not the best spot to do it. And here we go, just making sure that we don't get out of position. It's very important to not lose all your colossi. And sentries are fairly important too. Zerg is electing to counterattack, which is smart. He does get us to pull back, and he'll snipe one base. But he really can't get the other base. We're just outrunning him. He'll lose too many roaches if he does that. He probably could have sniped it. I don't know. He didn't. And now we're just going to look at the the worker counts. 57 to 53. Income, yeah, we're only mining on one base right now. And that's pretty bad, but our army is ridiculously powerful, and Zerg only has roaches. There's really just nothing else, so just keep our colossi alive as long as we can. We really want to be, utilizing those colossus as much as possible, and also blink micro, very important. So we'll see some of my shoddy blink micro here, my Diamond League blink micro. Blink back the weakened stalkers, pretty simple. I remember when I watched, I think it was Drunken Bobby versus Idra in the beta, and that was the first game, I think, that was recorded where somebody used blink micro to blink back the weakened stalker, and it was so impressive back then. I still have that video saved. And at this point, we're just going to be going ahead and killing off the natural and running away. And we do have our extra bases up and running. So at this point, we are a little ahead in army, and we have quite a bit of money banked, but so does Zerg. Notice how little gas Zerg has. When he's doing this Roach opening, he really doesn't have much gas. And now he's trying to transition into Broodlords, but I don't think he has the economy for this. He definitely doesn't have the gas income. And we saw with our observer up here that Zerg is counterattacking to our third, so we're just going to position ourselves and we'll be fine. I'm going to make the Stargate right about now because I do want to have a mothership up for those Broodlords. But, I mean, it's not that important. Like, I see he has Broodlords, but I know his economy is weak. So what I'm going to do right now is actually just go kill him. So let's speed it up just a little bit. Here's a warp prism. And I'm going to go ahead and attack that. Didn't really get it, but not a big deal. And then we're going to move out. I want to put him a little bit on the defensive so he doesn't think about counterattacking that much. And here comes the move out. Gonna blink underneath those broodlords, but unfortunately he has a lot of zerglings and oh, bugging out. Hold on. Alright, we're good. I used my colossus to target fire the roaches rather than the broodlings, which I don't know if that was a great play. But either way, I mean, I have plenty of stalkers and the economy to take care of this. And standard, standard play, just blink under, target fire each one. Zerg really just doesn't have the economy to deal with this. Notice early game we're basically using our tech advantage with the colossi and blink to overcome a ton of just straight up roaches. In the late game we are using sort of this mid-game army still to deal with Zerg's concentrated mass of just early game and super late game. Zerg just doesn't have the economy to deal with something like that. So that is this game, and now we're going to move on to the next game where I execute it a little more accurately, and I'll go over more of the fine details.